Every day we spend hours and hours on social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, just to name a few. These platforms, they seem very innocent. It's just about sharing happy moments, traditions, cultures, thoughts and ideas, educating people. But these platforms are not as innocent as they seem, and I'm here to expose them. Reason number one, self-stimulation. Social media apps are designed by people whose job is literally to make sure that you spend the most amount of time possible on the apps, scrolling video after video, TikTok after TikTok, post after post. And this concept is not different. That same concept is viewed everywhere in the world of gambling. Because when you gamble, you don't know what the outcome will be. It's unpredictable. And that makes us addicted. It makes us want to find out what the outcome is, regardless whether it's going to be bad or good. That same concept is very similar, if not the exact same, just with social media platforms. In the 1950s, an experiment was carried out with rats. It involved two cages. Each cage had a button and a dispenser. And every time a rat would click on the button, some type of food would come through the dispenser. Now the difference between the two cages was, in the first cage, every time a rat would click on the button, a type of food would appear that was exactly the same. So it was the same type of food, the same size, the same smell, same brand, In the second cage, every time the button was pressed, a different type of food would come. Maybe a piece of cheese, cookies, and sometimes nothing would even come out of the dispenser. Now the experiment was tracking how many times each rat would click on that button. Which one do you think had more clicks? 1 or 2? If you guessed 2, you'd be correct. It's the unpredictable nature of the outcome that caused the rats in cage 2 to click the button more and more, because they wanted to see the outcome, because they knew every single time it would be different. Sometimes it would be amazing, sometimes it would be really bad. If you take that same concept and apply it to social media apps, you don't know if the content is going to be educational, comedy, beneficial. You don't know. Sometimes you'll watch a really silly video and just keep scrolling. And sometimes you'll watch an amazing video and still keep scrolling because you want more. And obviously that wastes so much time and keeps you on the app for as long as possible, just mindlessly scrolling for hours and hours and hours with no purpose. Reason number 2, social media wastes time. We just talked about it briefly in reason number 1, but I want to talk about it more. You see, the average teenager spends about 9 hours every day on their phone. Obviously, the majority of that is on social media platforms. But 9 hours a day is a huge amount of time to be spending on social media apps. And the funny thing is, you see people always complaining about, I don't have enough time to study, to work out, to spend time with my family, to read a book. But they spend 9 hours a day on social media apps and also get insufficient amounts of sleep, sleeping maybe 4 or 5 hours a day because they've been scrolling on their phone until 4 a.m. It's detrimental. By simply reducing your screen time and usage of social media apps, you free up so much time in your daily schedule. And by doing so, you have more time to complete tasks and chores that you've been procrastinating and holding off for a really long time. And it just makes you a more productive and functional member of society. So there's really no harm to just leaving social media apps. After all, let's be honest, there's really not much of a benefit. If I miss a TikTok, it's not a big problem. Reason number 3, comparing yourself to others. As humans, it is in our natural instinct to always want to compare ourselves with other people. You see, human society and our social structure is hierarchical, meaning there's going to be people at the very top and people at the very bottom. And we have the need as humans to always kind of evaluate and scale where are we. And that's only normal. It's part of being human because it gives us a guideline on what to improve, whether it be something financially or socially, mentally, or even physically. But in the age of social media, we have started hyper comparing ourselves to other people. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're scrolling and you see this post of this really good physique, this guy or girl with a really good physique, really good body. Your instinctual response or your instinctual impression is to think that that person has a really healthy body, a really happy life, they're not depressed, and they're rich. But that's not always the case. That person making the post could actually have a really horrible life, but just by that picture, you've already made that assumption. And then obviously you start comparing yourself with that physique, and you realize how horrible of a physique or how horrible of a life that you have just based on those assumptions that you made, which may or may not be true. Now, over a long-term period of time, this can spiral out of control into the person developing social anxiety. That is because when you're always exposing yourself to social media posts with other people who seemingly have amazing lives, you start to think that everyone in real life, in public, actually has a much better life than you do. So you develop social anxiety and you become afraid to go talk to these people and get to know them because you think you just wouldn't fit in. And that's simply not the case. And that obviously over a longer period of time can make the person develop really bad depression. Reason number 4. Now this reason is a really big one. Their terms and conditions. There's no denying that over the past couple of years there's been a lot of controversy regarding the terms of conditions of really big social media companies like Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok. But I want to focus on TikTok just for today. You see, terms and conditions are things that we just do not read. We just sign up to these apps without reading them, without caring about them, and we're just interested in taking content pretty much. These terms and conditions can literally say anything and we'd still agree. And guess what? They do say anything, literally some horrible stuff, really weird. I'll give you some examples from the TikTok website, their privacy policy page, on what type of data do they collect from your phone. A couple of simple things: your age, your IP address, your name, and where you live. But 9 times out of 10, we directly agree to these things. You get like a prompt on the screen, you just press agree. But that's not all. You see, TikTok even collects data on your own personal contacts. That means your friends, your mother, your father, your sister, and even your private messages. This is on their website. I'm not making this up. Even private messages. But the hole keeps getting deeper, man. TikTok can even access your calendar and see what type of events you have in that day. They can scan hard drives and files on your laptop. And if that's not creepy enough, they can check and track your screen resolution and the percentage of your battery at the time of you watching a certain video. How scary is that? If that doesn't scare you, I honestly do not know what will. TikTok doesn't just collect this data for no reason. It sells it to other companies that you do not know of. Big mega companies like Amazon and even other social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook. These are just the 4 major reasons that I think are the most important for me to talk about. There's obviously many more. But that's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please like. If you'd like to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, I don't really care. I just want this video to be beneficial to you and to other people. And remember, with hardship comes ease.